Burnt sat up and rubbed at a sore shoulder. He'd managed to bruise it in his sleep, lying on the hard stone floor of the tiny room. He glared at the bed in the corner, mocking him with its perfectly comfortable straw mattress and thick, cozy blanket. He hadn't dared lie down in it last night for fear of damaging both the mattress and the fabric in his sleep, or worse, setting the whole thing on fire somehow. Closing his eyes, Burnt controlled his breathing and focused inward, methodically pinching off the hundreds of tiny sorcerous channels that poured mana into his flesh. Someday soon he hoped to be able to control his temperature even while asleep, but he wasn't there yet. He'd had to keep the window open to make sure it didn't get too hot in the otherwise enclosed space. If he couldn't figure it out soon, he would be forced to heat-proof practically all his belongings. Getting up, he stretched his limbs, trying to work out some of the stiffness in his joints. It was uncomfortable, but still an immeasurable improvement over the state he'd been in before. His ribs no longer ached, and the skin on the soles of his feet was healed and covered in fresh, pink skin, restored by a passing priest of Eiley, practically the moment he'd arrived last night. He eyed his robes critically before putting them on. They were ragged after weeks out in the wilderness, but they were all he had. He'd tried to feed it a few of the plants that grew in the Phoenix Reaches over the past few weeks, but the spirit-infused garment had turned out to be rather picky. Of the plants that he could find, the robes had only absorbed a single handful of each before simply leaving them in his pockets. He'd need to get his hands on some more conventional fresh herbs soon to hopefully restore them to their former appearance. Opening the slightly too small door, Burnt ducked out into the courtyard of the Temple of Rusinia at the Sacral Peaks. The generously proportioned open area was mostly bare dirt and rock, interrupted only by the occasional weed. It was quiet and empty, but someone had built a few raised garden beds in one corner, which looked well-tended and healthy despite the fact that it was winter. Burnt thought he spotted beets, carrots, lettuce, and a few kinds of herbs, yarrow, wild mustard, and mint, as well as a few he didn't recognize. Whoever tended this place obviously liked to garden.